Pressure Wash Help, King of Pressure Washing. And tonight, I was going to have a special guest on, but we're having some good old technical difficulties. If we can get it figured out, we'll have him come on. He's a 15-year-old, and he was going to ask me some questions, and I was going to answer them, but obviously we have some technical difficulties, so if we can get it working, we will definitely get it up, and we'll definitely get it working, and I will bring him on for sure. So if you all have any questions, ask away. And this is not going to just be for if you're young, but if you're old. But, you know, business is business. And at the end of the day, it don't care if you're young or old. And so that is definitely something that we have to think. Must be having technical difficulties. You are correct on that. We got Bobby Walker in the house. How's Mr. Bobby Walker doing? And so I want to hit on, he's 15 years old, and he has been asking me questions, and he had a whole bunch of questions, and now it's not coming on, but we'll see if we can get it to happen. If not, I will ask, you can ask me questions, and I will get it going. So we'll see how this will work out, and see what we got going on here. So it looks like it may be working. Can you hear me? Let me try it here. Can you hear me, Caleb? I can see you. And
hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, man. Can you hear me?
Can't hear you at all.
Well, that stinks. Try to go into your settings and make sure either if you have earbuds or earplugs, and make sure that it's getting that. So, but let's get going here. Jason, first year Christmas lights is $3,000. First year Christmas light job is $3,000. That is awesome. And you know what? Here's the other thing. So I know I was having a 15-year-old on, and I want to hit on whether you can start a business at 15. But I want to hit on Nathan is 21 or 22, and he's doing very well for himself. And so it can definitely be done. You know, a lot of times people say, I'm too old, I'm too young to start. And it's a great book to read. It's The Magic of Thinking Big. I would highly recommend you read that book, because it is definitely something that is something that you can do. Appreciate Jason's second year and really living my best. Couldn't have done it without you. That is awesome, Brad. That is awesome, awesome, awesome. Who is the journey of a new entrepreneur guy? That would be Bobby Walker. Unless he got hacked like I did, that's who that would be. New in business here. I'm 19 and started just over 2 months. Things are moving slow, but I'm learning a lot and really loving pressure washing. I'm in the Cincinnati area as well. That's pretty cool, Austin. Austin, I'm gonna write your name. What's your business name, Austin? And I'll look you up and see what maybe we can make something happen and do maybe a ride along or something with that, because I love helping new guys that are wanting to get started in the business. What's up, Derby City Pressure Washing, tuning in from Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville, Kentucky. We got Mr. George Yost, big time, watching the Steelers game. Hello, Jason. Random acts of kindness, cleanness today. And you know, I was talking about a young guy. This is an old guy right here, and he's doing Facebook Lives. Can you believe that old people can do Facebook Lives? Well, right here is an old guy that's doing Facebook Lives. And so we got young guys that are doing Facebook Lives, and we got old guys that are doing Facebook Lives. What's your reason why you're not doing your Facebook Lives? Because I don't want to hear you're too old or you're too young, because I got two people here that can do it, and so can you. And so, you know, this is awesome. He did a Facebook Live talking about his random acts of kindness, and it will get you money, and it will get you business. Hey, Jason, do you think it's too late to start Xmas lights without any knowledge? Absolutely not. I've had many people start and grow and do very well in their very first year, even if they're starting, as long as you get started before November. Because a lot of times, a lot of your leads for new people aren't really coming in till till February, or till February. That was stupid. Till a lot of your leads are not coming in till November, and I know that's not the case all the time, but most of the time that is the case, and so that is definitely something that you can start and grow. Like I had a class 2 years ago. Actually, it was 3 years ago. 2 years ago. It was with Mr. Muted themselves. But it was Mr. Um, it was Mr. Jeremy Main, and Jeremy actually started that class was at the end of October, and he ended up doing 30,000 his first year, and he ended up doing 200,000 his next year. And so it is definitely not too late to do Christmas lights in that. So it is definitely something that can be done, and so that is if you're looking to do it. All right, I'm gonna try this one more time. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello, 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 hello. No hearing. Muted themselves. All right. So, so it is definitely not too late. If you want to go check out the training that we have, in-person training that we teach on marketing, we teach everything. Go check out christmaslights.io and go to in-person training. We have one last training coming up in October. And it's a 2-day class, all day Saturday, all day Sunday for the Christmas lights. And it's down in Donovan's shop. It's amazing. Everything along those lines. How did you get hacked? I have no idea. They went in and they changed my name. They changed my name to Tesla. They had a Tesla emblem, and they put all my videos on. They put all my videos on private, and it was not good. It's still having it's my views have been going still since I've been hacked. Even these lives, I'm barely getting any live. I used to get 75, 100 people every live. I'm barely getting 50, 60 people on it now, and this is on all my platforms. So it has hurt me quite a bit, but hey, we'll keep going. We'll keep hammering down at this, right? Left my full time getting last week getting pressure wash jobs done these 2 weeks before Christmas lights, October 1st. Over $50,000 booked for October, all thanks to you, sir. Now that is a high five. That is awesome. That is worth celebrating right there. All right, I'm gonna pull you up here. I see. Can you hear me now? I can at least see you. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Nope, I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna work, man. So that is awesome to get over $50,000 booked. I know Tyler. I just talked to him. He has $11,000 booked, starting brand new. He just took our class 2 weeks ago. He's got his Facebook ads running. He's had 50 leads, and he's closed 5 of them, 10%. That's where you're going to be on Facebook leads. So he's at $11,000 with 50 leads from Facebook. So which is awesome, awesome, awesome. It is AP Pressure Washing is his name. Awesome. Pressure Washing is my business name. Currently trying to get my Google My Business page unsuspended. Has been a hassle. And yeah, definitely I would love to meet you and pick your brain for sure. I'm too ugly. that's definitely a reason not to do it. Fear, the reason is usually fear, and it is for sure. 38 and going live on most jobs. Awesome. Awesome. The excuses are just that. All right. So I've had a really good amount of leads from Facebook already. Good, good, good. It's getting busy here in Central Florida. All right, so let's get started here, and I'm going to hit a lot of questions here that and Caleb, if you are on here, ask me if you want to ask me your questions through Facebook. I will answer them there too. And if anybody else wants to ask, I will answer theirs too. I'm going to try this one more time, and then we will see if this is going to work or not. Hey, it's
Hello?
working. Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right, don't touch nothing.
All right.
What'd you figure out was wrong?
What?
Did you figure out what was wrong?
Yeah, I was connected to cellular, but I needed to connect to the Wi-Fi, and I'm not at our house right now. I'm at our friend's
Awesome.
shop right now, but yeah.
Awesome. So Caleb reached out to me about 2 or 3 weeks ago and was asking questions. And I asked if he would come on because I love young entrepreneurs. I think it's really cool when young entrepreneurs want to try to start and grow. And I think that you can definitely do that. And so with that, tell me, Caleb, just a little about who are you, where you're from, that kind of stuff.
Well, my name is Caleb Cunningham. I'm 15. I'm one of 11 siblings. I have 11. No, sorry, I have 10 siblings. I live in Iowa. All my parents have always encouraged me to be entrepreneurial, and I started a business back in 2018. It was a bath and body products business, and I just always kind of enjoyed working for myself, I guess, and being entrepreneurial. And I've not been doing that anymore. I've been trying to start and grow my pressure washing business, and so I don't currently have a pressure washing business. Starting. I'm trying to start my pressure washing business. So yeah, it's
So,
great.
as a young person, what are some things that have been hard for you to try to overcome and get it started?
Um, well, the number one thing is I'm 15, so I don't have a driver's license, obviously, and I can't just drive to jobs. I would have to have someone take me, and I don't really live in a neighborhood. I live more out in the country, so there's not a lot of houses near me where I can just go door to door and do boots on the ground
Now, do
marketing.
you have any older siblings?
I have one older sibling. Her name is Eden. She's 16. She has her license, and she's actually taking me to some jobs today. I was doing some jobs for our friends for some before and after photos. I was doing them for free just to get some pictures, and yeah.
So, what's your goal?
Um, First to start a business, to actually start my business, but I want to be able to support myself and support my family if I get married, and I want to be able to buy my own house and own my own cars, and be able to support myself with my business.
Awesome. And what 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 are some things? So what I asked Caleb is come up with some questions to even ask me. So I don't know if you've got a list or not, or a few.
Yeah.
If you want to kind of, haha, Bobby Walker put, haha, I have a son named Caleb and a daughter named Eden, both
That's funny.
entrepreneurs. Does he have brothers named Aaron by the chance? Well, he's got 10 other brothers,
No.
so there's probably a good chance that there might be one Aaron.
No, there's no Aaron.
Oh, okay.
So there's only 3 boys in our family. The rest are girls.
Wow, that's a lot of girls.
Yep, 8 girls.
Um, I wish I was thinking being an entrepreneur at that age. I would have 100x further along than I am now. In other words, he doesn't have a business goal, and and this is coming from someone that is young also. So Nathan is only about 21 or 22, and so what he basically is saying is what we really need to have a goal for our business, right? We can
Yep.
have goals for our life, we can have goals for different things, but what is kind of your goal for your business? For instance, what is your goal for, let's just say, 2023? Since we're almost to the end of 2022, what is your goal for 2023, business
Like
wise?
how much money I want to make, or just in general for my business.
Business wise, or how much money you want to make?
Um, well, business wise, I want to start my business and be able to upgrade equipment and have get to a point where I'm able to um, be able to afford that equipment and be more efficient. And then I think for my first year, I want to make, probably 25,000, 25 maybe.
So your goal at
25,000.
16 years old is to make $25,000. And
Yep.
what is your plans to be able to get to that? Now, we're worried about equipment, and I know a lot of times I preach about equipment does not make us money.
Yep.
And if you've listened to me at all, it doesn't matter if you're
Yep.
15 or if you're 50. A lot of times we worry about the equipment so much, and yes, we can start with small stuff, whether you are
Yep.
15 or you're 50. We don't need a $25,000 rig. It's not going to make you money at the end of the day. And so this is things that are mindsets that a lot of times we like the equipment because it's stuff that we can touch, and it doesn't matter if you're 15 or 50. It's stuff that you like to touch and make. We think that's what makes us money. But in the end, that's not what makes us money, right? What makes us
Yep.
money is knowing how to get customers and how to be able to get more customers.
Yep. Um, what? So my equipment right now, I'm just barely getting started. All I have right now is a Simpson 15-inch surface cleaner, like $17 pump up sprayer, and uh, a 2.5 gallon per minute pressure washer. So I'm starting with that really small equipment, and what I was saying is in the future I want to be able to upgrade equipment so I can be more efficient. But obviously for now I want to get customers and market and be able to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Equipment
Yep.
only equals speed, doesn't equal money, right?
Yep.
So, what are some questions that you would have for me?
So I actually made a list. I'm just going to go through that if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine. Check it
One of
twice.
my first questions is getting started without a driver's license. How should we go about getting started before we have a driver's license? Like mainly for people under 16.
So that's a good question right there. How do we get to jobs when we're under 16, right? And so some things that we have to do, even like I think Seattle Pro Wash might be young. I don't know if he's the young guy that's grown his business to really high or not. I know there's a dude in Seattle that has. A good way to get started is on the weekends and rent equipment, $70 for 4 gallon a minute per day. And that is true. So one thing that I would say would be is you either got to go in with a friend that is older, might be 16,
Yep.
17, and you're paying $10 to drive you there and drop you off, and $10 to pick you up. But those are ways that we can get around. Might be, no, I'm not that guy. Okay. It might be that you have to go and pay somebody, right? That's some things that
Yep.
you're going to have to think about that you can do. Some things that you could do is maybe hire a buddy that can drive,
Yep.
or even a sister. I don't know what the sister does, but hey, can here's $20 to drop me off and $20 to pick me up. Make it worth their
Yep.
time to pay their gas, make it worth their time to be able to get you there.
Yep.
Being that you got, where you are, maybe you work on the weekends. Are you
Yep.
homeschooled or you go to public
I
school?
Yes, I'm homeschooled. We're all homeschooled.
So, if you're homeschooled, you can do some stuff during, school hours.
Yep.
If your mom can drop you off or you try to go that route. Bicycle with a wagon and door knocking at that age. The only issue with that is he lives out in the country, like he said, so if you lived in the city, that would be one thing. One thing I'm going to
Yep.
give you some advice too. I know you work for the detailing company, or you
Yep. I'm working 2 days a week right now. I'm
so
working Mondays and Tuesdays.
so I would say find a mentor even at your age, and you actually have a guy that would probably mentor you, and he will probably listen to this podcast because he listens to all my stuff, and he's worth millions. He's got $1 million pressure washing, window cleaning business, and he got dog kennels and stuff like that. And his name's Randy Beeson, and I'm pretty sure he's out of
Yep.
Davenport, Iowa. And so I would try to
Yep.
find someone like that to say, hey, can I just come and help or do whatever and help me start my business? And he will probably help you start your business as long as you are trying to move forward, And so, yeah. And so those are some things that you can do to be able to do that. Someone put sometimes you can ride a motorcycle. I don't know if you can do a motorcycle as your age, but
Yeah.
there's some things that you could maybe do. When's your birthday? When is your birthday?
My birthday is March 19th.
So you'll be able to get your driver's license pretty much by the time next year starts, or at
Yep.
least your temps, and then try to get them as soon as you can. So, that's
Yeah.
some things that you're going to have to do. If you got a youth group, since you don't go to public school, if you got a youth group, if there's anybody in there that can,
No, we don't have a youth group, but we go to church and we have.
some
Yeah, we have one.
some people there that could maybe
Yep.
help you out, and maybe don't even think young, think somebody that's old, maybe a retired person wants to help you out, maybe be like, hey, I'll pay the gas and go back and forth, right? And so these are some ways that we can overcome the not being able to drive stuff. And maybe you find an older person that just wants to come and help you a little bit and mentor you, or even just drive you and drop you off, and find somebody that's like that would be willing to do those things to do that.
Yep.
Them are some things that we can do. This lady here, this just gave me an idea, but she's like, I'm a single mom with 2 sons, advise on how to get started. They both need supervision and both fitted to do physical work. Maybe you find a mom that's willing to drive you, that's looking for some money. Because if we're charging premium pricing and we're able to get, $300, $500, $600 per job, then we can pay people to get us where we need to go and from. It's just an expense we have to pay because we have to overcome that. That makes
Yep.
sense?
Yep.
What's your next question?
My next question is about investing. Where should we invest first? Like
Marketing. We gotta
marketing.
get we
Yep.
gotta get jobs coming in. If we can't get jobs coming in, it don't matter what kind of equipment we got. It doesn't
Yep.
matter any of that stuff. Um, you know, Obviously we got to work on our Google My Business. I would try to work on trying if you can get $350 to get signs. Those are going to be able to pull jobs the quickest and get stuff going. And so that is where, we got to figure out how to get marketing and how to get it. Whether we are doing Facebook Lives, whether we're doing, if we're going to use Facebook, then we got to find a bunch of people. But, yard signs is probably going to be your best place to start putting
Yep.
money into it.
Yep. One question I have is about Google My Business. I see lots of pressure washing companies driving around, and I see their signs and stuff, but I only see 5 companies in my area, in the Quad Cities area. I only see 5 of them up on Google My Business. So is that something like you have to pay for, or is there like a
Nope.
special
So
requirement or something?
Nope. So there is Google My Business. One of the biggest things that will come up for that is proximity. So wherever your business is located, the proximity of those people around will be the closest to you. And
Yep.
they will come up higher. So those 5 businesses might be close to you, and that's why they're showing up. If you're on the other side of the city, they might not come up at all, and another 5 people will come up. And then
Yep.
obviously we got to do the stuff to our Google My Business. So we got to put our 100 photos. We got to try to get our reviews. We got to get our citations. And so those are the things that bring us up. So that way, that's what has helped us. Yard signs have been really successful this year. So, I'm not just the only one saying yard signs will bring you in money.
Yep. Yep.
Next question.
Um. So I don't know. So what should the younger people, what should we do about people not trusting us because we're younger and they think we'll damage their property, or they just think we're too young to,
Well,
to be.
one is don't worry about it, right? And it depends
Yep.
on, here's the thing about it too is you're going to have to probably sell by over the phone and online anyway. So then you're
Yep.
not going to be showing your face. You don't have like a real squeaky young man's voice right now, which will help you. I've
Yep.
talked to some guys that are 18, 19, and they sound like they're 12, right? Their balls haven't dropped enough.
Yep.
And so, those are some things that you do have a good voice speaking and you're speaking well. And so they won't know that you're only 15 until you get there and that your mom's dropping you off and all the equipment, right? And so at that point, it's once you build that credibility and people see that you're a hard worker, that will actually go and help with you versus hurt you. Because right now, your generation has a bad habit of, they have a bad rap of young people don't want to work. And so when there's people that are willing to work and you answer your phone, you show up and do what you're going to say you do, and you keep communicating with them, then that's going to set you apart from anybody else. And those are things
Yep.
that will help you and grow your business. And that doesn't matter if you're 15 or 50. These rules all go to play in at the same time. And so
Yep.
this is, and I'm one reason why I'm using Nathan a lot here is because he's young too. So Nathan put get some confidence, right? You got to be confident. You can't be worrying about, well, I'm only 15. Who cares how old you are? If you're willing to go and you're confident, it goes a long way. And so if you know what you're talking about, it will show. And so that's where if you're confident, you know what, and you start doing it and it's working, it will work for you. So just follow the process, and that's how you got to get it going.
Yeah. The other day, when I was doing one of our friends' driveways, um, I had someone approach me, another homeowner approach me about getting their driveway pressure washed, and it was just like a standard two-car driveway. And I saw it as I was walking over there, and he's asking how much I would charge, and I don't have my business, so I just told him I could do it for 100. And then as I was going over there, I started noticing there was like some concrete spills and like areas where concrete was spilled and iron, rust stains, and so he asked me if I could get that stuff up, and I said I probably wouldn't be able to get all that stuff up, like the obviously like the spilled concrete and the iron stains. We need different chemicals for that, and for the spilled cement that wouldn't be able to come up. And I told him I wouldn't be. I highly doubt I'd be able to get that stuff up. And he was like, "Well, just try." And I was like, "I'll try, but I don't think I'll be able to get it up." And I started doing it, and then sorry, were you gonna say
No,
something?
go ahead.
Okay. Then I started doing it, and oh, actually, before this, he had a he had some people over for something to do with sealing the concrete, like putting some sort of silicone sealant in between the cracks. And there was already some old sealant in there, and then as I was getting started, he asked if I could get that stuff out. And I thought he was talking about like dirt and stuff. He said, "Could I get the dirt out, the dirt and stuff out?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can get that out. I'll just go over it with the pressure washer real quick." And then, and then as I'm doing it, as I like just right after I started, he came up to me and he picked up a piece of the silicone and showed it to me, and he said, "You're getting this out right?" And I didn't know it was. It looked like a weed or something because I had sunglasses on and it was really loud, and so there was a lot going on. So I just said, "Yeah," because I thought it was a weed. And then I just finish up, and the driveway wasn't too dirty. It was fairly dirty. And then I told him I'm done, and he's like, "Well, you didn't get the stains out, and you didn't get the concrete up." Uh, and I was like, I told him I tried to tell you that I wasn't going to be able to get that stuff up, and then he said, "Why didn't you get the silicone out or the sealant out?" And I said, I I didn't know that he wanted me to get that out because I thought it was weeds and dirt and stuff he was wanting me to get out. And um, so then he asked me, "Do you want to? Can you just get a screwdriver and start scraping it out?" And I had to tell him, I was like, Here's the thing. I'm a pressure washing business. I pressure wash and clean driveways. I don't clean sealant out of cracks. He said, "Well, here, just take this screwdriver and start cleaning it out." And then he literally didn't force me, but he had me just start cleaning it out with him. And after that was done, he only paid me $80 for it, which I'm not too concerned about the $20, but we did make an agreement that he'd pay me a certain amount, and
So what
I'm
did
not too
you
worried
so
about
what
it.
did
But
you learn from that experience?
one thing, I need to raise my prices, and so I'm not doing jobs for people who are gonna keep wanting more and not appreciate my service. And um, I need to list what I do and don't, or mainly just what I do, and
And you don't
not
even have to list it; just say it. We're
get
going to
so.
remove dirt, mold, and algae. We're not removing any or inorganic staining, right? That would have been your
Yep,
silicone and your other stuff, right?
yep,
And your iron. And so these are things that that we got to make sure that we understand that what we can clean. And you're young, and again, it doesn't matter if you're young or old. A lot of people don't know what you can clean and what you can't until you start doing it and getting that experience. And so
yep,
with that, one thing is don't be afraid to charge. That's probably the number
yep,
one thing. I did a ride along just a couple weeks ago with George, and there was a tank, a pressure or a propane tank here, and the guy's like, well, how much are you going to charge me to clean that? And he's like, $20. I'm like, $20? We don't clean nothing for $20. We're at least saying $100, 50 or 100. It takes our time, it takes our chemicals to clean it, and we know how to clean it, so that's why we're going to be able to charge that, right? And so you don't feel bad because you charged $100 on a driveway you only made $80 on. How long did that driveway end up taking you?
um, about an hour.
So you were there an hour and still did $80, which isn't too bad, right? Now it wasn't what you wanted, and it wasn't what it didn't turn out the way you wanted. But you know what? You did learn something, and that's the important thing: is that we're always learning, we're always using these experiences, and we can, and that's the most important thing. I still learned the other day. I did a deck the other day, and it wasn't to par of what I wanted. It spurred up on me. Now, you know what I got to do? I got to go fix it. I got to go in there and take sandpaper and sand it back down because I screwed it up a little bit. But you know
Yep,
what? I'm going to make it right. And I know what I got to do to make it right so that I can stain it so that way the customer's happy. So these are things that we have to do. And it's just like someone says, there's some things that we have to, just because they're an old person doesn't mean they can throw you around. There are red flag customers. There are people that we do not want as customers, and there are people that we are willing to fire them. Don't be afraid to be assertive when setting the expectation. It's all part of your confidence, right? If you were, hey, you know what? There's I can, and you know what? You can say, hey, I can clean your driveway, but the rest things aren't going to come up because that's an inorganic staining, and that's a whole nother process. And I don't have the chemicals to do that process as of right now. And then when
yep,
he started talking about the silicone, again, it's all about listening a lot of times because if we don't understand what he's talking about, we should have turned off the machines and be like and listen, be like, I can't. This is not going to get the pressure washing out,
yep,
so the silicone is probably going to still be there when we're done.
yep,
You know, somebody put, some of the metal roofs you have to walk because they put a coating on them, and if you actually discolor them, then you screw the roof up. Or if they have oxidation, it's a whole nother ball game, and it's no fun either to do that.
yep,
I would recommend writing down a couple of takeaways from each job. That's a good point, right?
yep,
Write
yep,
down some things that, hey, this is what I learned, so that way I don't do it again.
yep.
What other questions you got?
Um, so for us younger people, what should we start charging premium, like start premium pricing like right out of the get go, or should we start lower and then just work up
I'm
to
all about starting with
premium?
premium pricing because here's the deal: if you're not willing to ask it, you won't ever ask it. I see a lot of people be like, "Well, I won't be able to get it." and there is things that you will learn because of premium pricing. You learn how to sell better. You learn how to do a lot of things where if you don't ever start premium pricing, you will never go up in premium pricing. I've seen so many people start out low and then they go out of business. Like
Yep.
I always say, Jason Hefner always sends me a bunch of rigs for sale because the reason they gave the other day is it didn't work out like they thought. It's a brand new freaking rig, never been used, and what that meant was is they didn't know how to get customers. They didn't know how to
I've
get the
seen a lot
phone
of
ring.
people saying they're going out of business because they made the mistake of buying expensive equipment and then not putting anything into marketing.
Yep, yep,
Yep.
exactly. How would we start from scratch building through the winter months? GMB website, yes. So those are definitely some things because we're getting right here in the wintertime. So we want to be putting our pictures up on GMB. We want to be posting still on GMB or Google Maps, whatever you want to call it. You want to be posting. You want to have your website up. We want to get our citations. We want to be starting to get all that stuff up. So when spring comes, we'll be ready to hammer down and make it happen.
Yep.
The things I learned from my first job is there are jobs I really don't want to do, then I price like I don't want it. And then the bad thing is you usually get those jobs.
Yep.
What other questions you got?
Um. So just real quick about the pricing and everything. Will when you start, do you charge like per square foot or per hour? And if so, what should we be charging for that?
So I I kind of go for the per. I do the per hour, but you are got a lot of smaller equipment, so your would be really expensive at this point. So I would probably be
Yeah.
going more toward the per square foot.
Okay.
And the per square foot is a house wash we are anywhere from 20 to 30 cents a square foot.
Yep.
Concrete cleaning we're kind of in that 20 to 25 to 30 cents a square foot. And so that's kind of a good general rule for house washing and concrete cleaning. And then the other thing you can offer too is especially up there in that area, which you don't probably got a lot of driveways that are concrete because a lot of you got a lot of blacktop, don't you? Um,
There's a lot of just concrete.
yeah,
That's mainly what I see.
so then you could also do concrete ceiling too.
Yep.
So you're gonna have to it will cost a little bit to get the sealer, but you're charging $1 a square foot to seal. So then you're making your money pretty well at that point.
Yep.
Um, yeah. Mike Manning put this is where how we were taught to sell wireless to start high. Yeah. I've switched to square foot. I used to judge by the hour, but lots of times I'd underbid it. Yeah. You need to start your marketing now. Get your name out there, and that's things too, right? You can do marketing, and even you can flip rocks. Say, drop me off in this area and go flip rocks. Go knock on doors. Say, hey, we can clean this.
Yep.
I know that somebody was just in the group just posted that they ended up getting like an $8,000 job because they were flipping rocks. So
Yep.
don't be afraid to flip rocks, and that's for anybody. I see a lot of times people don't want to do it because they're too scared, but that's where you can get your money at and make it for sure. So, and then you're networking, right? When you're networking,
Yep.
networking is huge for even young people. You can network with other young entrepreneurs. There's Facebook groups and different things out there that will work with it. The other thing too is sometimes even at the chamber we'll have things for young people
Hmm.
and teach you how to do business and teach you all
Yep.
those skills that a lot of old people need too that don't think they might need it but they do need it.
Yeah, so I've heard you talk about the chamber a few times. I'm not really exactly sure what that is. Like you were saying, like Chamber of Congress or something. I
Yeah,
think is what you were talking about. I'm just
yeah.
not
So
exactly sure what that
the
is.
chamber of commerce is usually a it's usually a bunch of business people in that area in each area. And so it is kind of ran with the government also, but it's with the business side of things.
Yeah.
And they'll have like meetings and different networking things that you can go do. Some of them even have like workspace that you can go work there. I know I got one guy that he's going and working at the Chamber of Commerce because the his internet's down, so he's actually going there and working. So there's things that you can
Yep.
definitely do for that.
Yep.
Uh, Go ahead. What's your next question? You got any more?
Um, so for sales, how should we get better and just better in general at doing sales and being confident in
Read books.
that? Yep.
Read books. Practice with other people. Practice. I would read Grant Cardone books.
Yep.
10x. What's the sold or be sold or something along those lines,
Yep.
or sell or be sold.
Yep.
um, I would read leadership books too. Extreme Ownership is a good book, and it's
Yep.
not just sales, but it's kind of building that confidence of taking ownership in your business. And so
Yep.
that's a good book. It's got some gruesome, and then I am actually reading. So you got Extreme Ownership, and then the next book is The Economy of Leadership, and I'm actually reading that book right
Yep.
now myself. So
Yep.
another person that does a lot of good leadership books too is, and this works with sales too. Yeah, The Magic of Thinking Big is, I love that book. But who I'm drawing the blank. Oh, John Maxwell. He's got a ton of books that are good to read too. And whether you
John
like to read them,
Maxwell.
huh?
John Maxwell.
Yep, yep,
I've seen someone around our area named John Maxwell.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if it's the same person, but there's
right.
someone running for, I don't know, something.
I got you.
They're on some sign stuff. Might be a different person. I don't know.
Hey, Jason, watching your live and putting out signs at night. Money hungry right now for the weekend. Putting out them money bushes. How do you charge for tax? And then this is, I don't know if you have to in Iowa, but in Kentucky we just got a tax that you have to pay the 6.5% tax. And this is up to the
Yep.
state. Not every state you have to pay sales tax, but some states do. So if you do, you just got to take that money out, and then you got to pay your sales tax usually quarterly. So,
Yep. Let me keep going.
yep, go ahead.
Um, Another question I have is insurance. How, like, is there a certain age limit or something you have to get to like get just like a general liability insurance?
No,
Or
you don't have to. I would call around some insurance agencies around and see what they can find for you. That
yep.
it is definitely something that it is good to get for sure. Just so if we screw something up, where you're not gonna, if you're only shooting for 25 or 50,000 next year, it should be fairly cheap for you. But I mean,
Yep.
honestly, I think you could do 25, no problem. 25 to 50,000, no problem.
Yeah.
So,
It's here in Davenport. It's usually pretty cold. It gets it's right now. It's actually pretty cold. So I don't know. That actually brings me to another question I have. When does it get too cold or too like what is
well,
the
if you're
right
doing driveways and
temperature or
stuff,
weather
anything
to?
above freezing, is good. You're able to clean. But most people aren't going to clean it when it's cold. That's the
Yep.
issue. So, usually, and you're up that far, so your season's probably going to be about April till September, Octoberish is when it will
Yep.
be done. And this is why we charge premium pricing, so that way we can make enough money during those months so we don't have to work in the wintertime.
Yep.
Obviously, I like Christmas lights, but
Yep.
it's definitely something that it is.
Yeah. So is Christmas lights? Is that something that the younger people can start, or should we maybe wait until?
No,
Should I
you
maybe wait until I'm older if
no.
I'm looking
Actually, I
to
knew a
do
guy
that?
that started out in Christmas lights that was young. So
Yeah.
it's definitely. I mean, the biggest thing is being safe up on. You got to be safe up on roofs and different things like that. So,
Yep.
in fact, I had a 13-year-old in our class last time. So this
Yeah.
past class. So
Yep. Um, Another question I have is marketing. I know you've already covered a lot of this, but I'm just going through my list. What are some of the best ways to market? Obviously, Facebook and yard signs and flyers, stuff like that. But yeah.
when you're young like this, door hangers can be a way of doing it. Whether you go
Yep.
and go do a bunch of door hangers, get on a one wheel and you're going around doing a bunch of door hangers, or the other thing is yard signs. I love yard signs. And even like door hangers, if we're going to do door hangers, it's not that we go in one neighborhood and that's when we only do them one time. Whenever we're dealing with door hangers, we got to do them several times. We got to hit that
Yep.
neighbor every 3 or 4 weeks, and so that's what we have to do.
Yep.
And here's another guy just jumped on. Mr. Paul's a young guy. I know he looks old there, but Paul's a young guy. He's only like 20 or 21. So
Yep.
but yeah, so that's marketing. That comes back to because I think you have like 120 friends on Facebook. Are you really going to get a lot off Facebook? Probably not with only 120 friends, right? And so,
Yep.
and most of them look like pressure washers or different people. And so that's why if we're going to do Facebook, we kind of gotta start friending those other people that may be able to be willing to do it with us.
Yeah.
So
So when I start, if I'm able to, I'm planning on creating a different Facebook account specifically for my business, and that will be my business
yeah.
account. Basically. Yep.
Do you like to read books?
Um, I listen. I like listening to books. So I know you've said before they have like the E Myth and Extreme Ownership on Audible, and
Yep.
that you can just listen to because we have a pretty big yard, and when I'm mowing, I just mainly listen to you, but I listen to some other stuff sometimes too.
Yep. Yeah, that's I would definitely start. I mean, it's good to listen to podcasts too, what you're doing, but I would also start reading some books. Sometimes I get bored of reading books and I go to podcasts, and I get bored listening to
Yeah.
podcasts and I go back to reading books. And so it just depends on which one you're doing. And so the biggest thing I always say is if whatever you're doing, if you're reading books, try to at least take one or two things and implement it into your business.
Yep.
And that way you're going to keep growing because you can read books and be just an educated idiot at the end of the day. And we don't want that, right? We want to be taking
Yep.
action and making things happen. The biggest thing too, I would tell you, is see if you can find someone that'll mentor you. Find somebody that there's old people out there, and what I mean by old people is 40 50 people 40 50 years old that own good businesses, and they will be willing to do one-on-one with you once a week or once every couple of weeks, and to teach you and do
Hmm.
different things, and that's not a bad thing, right? It's not a bad thing to start that even young. So
Yep.
yep.
Okay. So another question. Um, so I know you talk about investing in marketing before investing in equipment and stuff like that, but we'll get to a point where we have to upgrade our equipment. And when would be a good time to upgrade and invest in better equipment?
When you're booked out about 2 weeks, a week or two, and you got so much work coming out of your ears and the phone's ringing off the hook. I mean, honestly, it's one of those things that if we can get to a 4 gallon a minute, that's where we want to be at. I know you're at a
Yep.
2.5 or whatnot.
Yep.
But it's getting there and making getting that phone to ring, because we can buy equipment, but that's not going to make the phone ring. So that's why it's important that we
Yep.
get that phone ringing.
Yep. And the last question I have is, this is more in the future of the business, but when should we hire employees?
Um, well, you got to hire one before the future, because you got to hire one to drive you around. You got to
Well,
find somebody to
so
drive little Miss Daisy around. But I'm just kind of poking there. Um,
yep.
when we got to hire employees, when we got a business and it's up and running, right? When we have we got so much to work going on, we don't know what to do, and we're going to stop growing. You know,
Yep.
as you grow the business, and as you keep getting the phone to ring, and as we grow it, then that's where we need to start looking at, when do I get off the truck and doing a $15-$20 an hour task, and I start working on the $100 an hour task, or the $1,000 an hour task? And that is it. It might be, for you, it could be a year, it could be 5 years, right? It's all in what you want. It's all in how you set your goals. It's all in how you try to obtain your goals. And so those are some things to think about when we're dealing with growing a business. Again, this doesn't matter if you're 15 or 50. At the end of the day, business is business. It don't care if you're young or old. And so I know some really good, like I said, that my last class I had a dude that was 21 in there, and he had some very good mentor. I could tell he had some very good mentors around him, because he's like, yeah, I got rid of these jobs because I wasn't being able to scale it with this here. And so I know he didn't come up on his own with that, but he's had some good mentors with him, and and his goal is to franchise this business. And so he is only 21, and he's there, and he's going to do well because he has those mentors in his life that's able to help point him where he needs to go at. And so those are some things to think about when we're dealing with this stuff. It is definitely, can we, I love people want to do all of these different services, but at the end of the day, let's pick a couple and be really great at those. And a lot of times we can go deep at that, and then we can scale out from there.
Yep.
Here's a question. Let me see what he writes here. For any pointer for him, or how he's going to overcome the skeptical homeowner. Just saying, because he's young, some homeowners won't take him serious. Him quoting a $1,500 to $2,000 house wash,
Yep.
and that is very true. And this is why I was saying we can do a lot of this selling on the phone, right? And you're not
Yep.
going to say I'm only 15, because you know what? When you get there, you don't have to say you're the business owner. I owned a business, and I didn't even tell people I was a business owner. My business cards didn't say owner on the stupid thing. Why? So when people fly off the handle, I'll say, hey, you know what? You need to call the office, talk to my boss. Now, I'll be the boss in the truck when I get to the truck, but that's when they can talk to me, and we can have a real conversation and not be blown up. And so those are some things to think about. And I agree with you, Kevin. How do we overcome those things? But one of how we overcome is we got to bid them. That's the hardest one that we got to
Yep.
overcome. Most people are afraid to bid them at $1,500 and $2,000,
Yeah.
and so those are some things to think about when we're doing this.
Okay, and the last question I have is about commercial work. Is that something we should wait until, like, we have insurance, and or is
Yes,
that something
yeah. A
we
lot
should
of
do
times
right out of the get
you
go?
got to have insurance to be bid in commercial work.
Yep.
Yeah.
And is that something I should do right when I first start? And if I get insurance right when I start?
I mean, you could. I would probably. I don't know if I would be going after commercial right away, because you got to have
Yep.
money up front sometimes. Depending on what chemicals you got to have, all of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
those are definitely some things that I would. I don't. I would maybe um, and you're going to have to go in person a lot for those too.
Yep.
Now, I'm not to say that you can't start building your LinkedIn profile and start using
Yep.
that and start trying to get it growing for you.
Yep. One of the questions I asked for if some people could ask or could write down some questions on one of my Facebook groups, and one of the questions someone had was about apps and different apps we can use to help us, like for insurance or for quoting and different things like that,
Yeah,
for
so there's a lot
taxes.
of apps out there. So a free one is you can use Yard Books, and that way you can send invoices and different things along those lines, and send
Yep.
emails and stuff. So that's a CRM is it's a free CRM. It's called Yard Books. DJ used it for 2 or 3 years before he actually went to Marquette, which is $29, $39 a month. So
Yep.
that's one that you can use. That way you can take credit cards. Also, that way you are getting legit business at that point, right? So
Yep.
Yard Books is one. I use Google. I use Google Earth a lot. You can measure your sidewalks and you can measure everything. So that's a good one that I use a lot.
Yep.
I use Google Calendar. That's how I scheduled and kept my schedule good. So that's another one you can use.
Yep.
Um, Pretty much, if you're using a better CRM, like they might have an app, but that's pretty much all I used at the end of the day.
Yep.
So, um,
What?
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Oh. Well, so that's all the questions I have, um, that I wrote down, and
Well, we're at an hour, so that's good. Um, Other than the one thing that I would say is try to learn as much as you can. Be careful in the Facebook groups. There's a lot of people that are up to no good. I know that they don't always think they're being funny, but they are. They will eat you alive. That's
yeah.
one thing that in my group I don't allow that stuff because I don't like it. I always say there is no dumb question. The only question is dumb is the one you don't ask. And so those are some things that I would be careful in some of those pressure washing groups. There's people that will give bad information just to give bad information. And the thing that I would probably try to do the most is learn, go practice, go get lots of pictures and post them. And I know you're young, but post pictures of you. Get even if you can go buy a cheap shirts that are 15 or 20, $30 that have a logo of your logo on it or a name, and that way you can start looking legit and having pictures taken of
Yep.
it. And those are things that we can do to make us look more legit and more able to do
Yep.
to get that stuff. And then practice, kind of like what you've been doing. Practice doing free jobs. I wouldn't do too many free jobs, but start
Yep.
trying to promote yourself, and start doing some work. And that way you can start getting those pictures, because those pictures are definitely things that we can put on our website so we can make sure. Again, it ain't about the dirtiest pictures either. If we do a
Yep.
big house, those are the pictures we want, are the big houses. We don't want nasty greenhouses. We want big houses because they're the ones that are going to pay
Yep.
more. So definitely something to think about and when we're dealing with this stuff.
So yeah, I actually, like I said, I did those jobs today. I'm doing that just to get some before and after pictures, and then so in March, when I turn 16, I'm going to use the money I saved up from working for the car detailing business. That's actually why I started working there, so I can raise some money so that in March, when I turn 16, I can purchase a vehicle. I'm looking at pickup trucks right now. I can purchase a vehicle, then start my business.
And that's another thing. And you're probably not got a lot just because you got 10 brothers and sisters. But for other people that may not, this is some good things to ask for Christmas presents. Some birthday presents, things that you may want is, hey, I want $300. I can go buy some yard signs, right?
Yep.
Or I want this piece of equipment. Those are some things we can do as a young person and ask for our birthday presents and for our Christmas presents.
Yep.
Because at this point, what are you gonna, are you gonna get some toy that you don't want or some clothes that you don't want either?
Nope.
Or hey, can you buy me some? My goal is to get $300 to get these signs, or my goal is to buy this pressure washing gun so that I can do or extra hose so now I can go around the whole house and not move the machine, right? And so
Yep.
those are some things that as a young person we can do to help us grow. Again, if you got birthdays, if you got Christmas presents, those are some things to ask for doing them. You can actually go on Amazon and do a Christmas list of the different equipment you might want and say, hey, this is what I want for Christmas. So then that way people can start helping you fulfill your dream, right? And so those are some things to think about when we are being a young person, how we can get money to do it, to be able to keep putting money into it and keep growing it.
Yep.
So, for
Yep.
sure. Well, other than that, I don't know if I have any more. We're at an hour anyway. That went faster than I
Yep.
thought it would.
Yeah.
But just the biggest thing is keep pushing forward, keep learning, don't give up. There you will learn things even if you quit the pressure washing business and you go do another business, right? We can take these skills that we've learned and put them into another skill. Marketing is marketing, sales is sales. So we can learn these skills, and these are valuable skills. I've seen people start doing pressure washing, figure out marketing, and then they start selling marketing or they start doing something different, right? It's
Yep.
not that we have to do marketing or pressure washing. We can do other things. And that's the beauty about with this here, is we learn a lot of different things. A lot of people don't always learn. They come into this thinking, oh, I like the pressure washing, and that's what I want to do is pressure washing. That's a $15-$20 an hour task. The where we make our money is not on the $15-$20 an hour task. It's on the $100 an hour task, the $300 an hour task, the
Yep.
$1,000 an hour task. And so those are the things that we got to start learning and growing in toward those things, and that is the smart thing to do. And so those are not always the fun and sexy things to do, but those are the things that we need to do so we can keep growing the business.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, go check out kingofpressurewash.com if you want to. It's I have the membership there. If you go to pressurewashhelp.com/free, you get 30 days free. Also, I have a training coming up in October the 15th, 16th, something like that. I don't know what the dates are. If you go to kingofpressurewash.com/in-person training, there's Christmas lights and pressure washing. So go check those things out, and we'll see you all later.